Valentine's Day. Give me a moment while I set up the Instagram. Happy Valentine's Day, everybody. If you don't already know, it's the Savvy Business Chick, making sure you know your purpose and destiny in the marketplace. As I finish getting set up, I just want to let you guys know that today is Spotlight Wednesday. Yep, even though it is the day, I'm going to be talking to you guys about, let me put it on, our Spotlight Wednesday. Let me write this down on Instagram. It's on Ursula Burns. Let me write her name. Ursula Burns. So come on in. On Ursula Burns. Okay, cool. Okay, I'm going to pin that comment. Cool. Okay, actually, let me bring this over here. Cool. So, again, this is a Savvy Business Chick, making sure you know your purpose and destiny in the marketplace. And, yep, got my hair redid or washed. So, I might look a little bit different, but it is me. It is all me. And this is, like I said, the Savvy Business Chick, making sure you know your purpose and destiny in the marketplace. Now, what exactly does that mean? That means that your marketplace is a group of people, a group of individuals that could be formed out of an industry that need what you do. And you might be a baker, you might be a hairstylist, you might be a personal trainer, you might be an engineer, you might be a savvy business chick like myself, a woman, a female boss, a girl boss, a guy boss. You can be any of those things, and someone needs the products and services that you sell, that you provide to the public. So what I like to do is give you tips, tricks, strategies to help you. Hi, thanks for joining. To help you develop your purpose in that marketplace. And today, on every Wednesday, what have we been doing is we've been doing a spotlight. You know, if I had like a flashlight, a spotlight on, right now we're doing a lot of females, but we're going to do a spotlight on people that have an inspiring story. And today we're talking about, today we're talking about Ursula Burns. And maybe you haven't heard about Ursula Burns. Hey, thanks for joining. Maybe you haven't heard about Ursula Burns, but she is, let me get my notes. She is our spotlight story today. And I know it's Black History Month and here in the U.S., and I'm just becoming a little bit more aware that other countries do actually acknowledge Black History Month too. Let me close my screen. Let me close my screen. They do acknowledge Black History Month too. But she is a history maker, even though she is still alive. And I think that's what a lot of people forget, right? They say, okay, well, we should be talking about people who are no longer here, right? Or most of the time when we hear about, you know, like a strong Black woman or a woman that's doing something, everybody mentions Oprah. But guess what? There's more people. There's more than just Oprah out here who knows, who is doing big in business, who is leading a successful life. Thank you so much for joining. And again, this is Savvy Business Chick. So I'm asking you guys to do just two things before we get started. And that is share this out. Whether you're on Periscope or you're on Instagram, please share this out, because so far this is our third person. This is a relatively new series, but I've been having a lot of fun, and hopefully you guys have too. And you can catch the replays on Facebook and on my YouTube channel. And our first person was someone, again, that's still alive. You're doing it big and making history. That's right. And that was Janice Bryan Holroyd, and a lot of people were like, who is this woman? And it's interesting that right after we did our spotlight, that The View like I said, because I have a lot of people who are in different countries. The View is a popular show here, in like a newsworthy kind of show here in the USA. They featured her, or they acknowledged her, and she shared that on her Instagram page as well. Hey, I am. I definitely am. I definitely am. I have like a ton of people that have like amazing stories. So we started with her, and even though she's still alive, guess what? She made history because she was the first black woman or girl boss. So she not only she tackles gender as being the first black woman who owns a $1 billion company. Then we tackled the first black woman who owned the first like new cable TV station, which was Sheila Johnson, and she also should be coined with being a part of a power couple because her and her husband did it together, and she also went forward to own or be a co-owner of a hockey team, a women's basketball team, a men's basketball team, and she's also a hoteler. So she has an amazing story, and now we're on today. Today we're talking about another amazing person that you may not have heard of, but she made history starting, I would say, more so in 2009, when she became the first black woman to become the CEO of a Fortune 500 company. So she became the first black woman to become the CEO of a Fortune 500 country, and we should give her a big hand clap for that, because that was an extremely big opportunity, a big deal. And out of 500 CEOs, because it's called Fortune 500, she was the first. She made that step. She made that leap. She owns that space. Hey, thanks for joining. So Ursula Burns, she is an American business executive, and like I just said, in 2009, she was the first to become the first black woman to become a Fortune 500 CEO of a company you may or may not have heard of. I think you have, and that is Xerox company. A corporation. And you know, Xerox is a global business, a global brand. I mean, she had about 100,000 to 140,000 employees. Sorry, trying to fix my leg. She later on stepped down for the role. So she was a CEO for Xerox for about 7 years, and then she stepped down from that position in 2016. Thanks for the hearts. And then she went to now she is, sorry, having a brain freeze. She now is also a CEO of Veron, which is a mobile. It's like I don't want to say it's like an AT&T, but basically it's a company that does mobile services in other countries, and like South Africa, other continents, actually we should say Africa and South America. So she is the CEO of that now, and she's also on the board for American Express and some other things. She's also was a advisor for President Obama and other president, and for the current President Trump. And so she has positioned herself to be a true girl boss, women CEO. But it wasn't always like that. I mean, she's an American businesswoman. They came from hi, thanks for joining. She came from the bottom. Like, she started from the bottom, now she's on top. Good morning, beautiful. Thanks for joining. So she started from the bottom, now she's here. We're talking about Ursula Burns, who was the first black CEO of a Fortune 500 company. She started out, thanks for sharing it, thanks for inviting followers. She started out, and she was born in New York. that she was born where her mom only made $4,000 a year, but her mom sent her and her brother and her sister to private school, to Catholic school. She gave them an opportunity that she didn't have, and she made that sacrifice. So that's why she said that her mom is one of her heroes. Her mom is the person, is even though her mom did not live to see her success, her mom was definitely her hero because she taught her a lot. So then and she took an unusual path, because she said back then women could only, the aspiration for a black woman was maybe become a nurse or become a teacher. And she went to school and later got a master's degree in mechanical engineering. And she talks about that you don't really have obstacles if you know what the need is. So, she said, out of 500 CEOs, 500 CEOs of a Fortune 500 companies, she became the first. So she took an opportunity, she grabbed that opportunity, and she made that opportunity work for her. And what I loved about her story is that she started as an intern. Some people want to start at the top. She started as an intern, guys, and she, as we were saying yesterday, she worked it. Thanks for joining on Instagram. We're talking about Ursula Burns, who was the first black female CEO of a Fortune 500 company. She started from the bottom. She was got her master's degree. Very smart woman. Got her master's degree. She started working while she was still in school. So I love that, because she was looking for opportunities, and she started working as an intern for Xerox while she was in school. At that time, she made $29,000. When she she was first offered a job at Xerox, she made $29,000. She later worked her way slowly up the ladder. She worked various positions. I always say, as a small business owner, I've done that myself. Worked various positions until you can just learn every aspect, every corner of the company. A lot of times I tell my staff, as you guys know, I do have a home health care agency here in the Washington, D.C. area. I tell my staff, I said, everything I'm telling you to do, I've done it myself. So I'm not only instructing you because this is the way I want you to do it, like as if I'm like some dictator. I'm like, I've done it this way and it works. So basically, you can come to me with your ideas. We can brainstorm together, but I definitely know this model works, and so that's why we do it this way. This is our staple signature. This is our signature way of how we do this. Thanks you so much for the hearts. So she did that, and this is also another profound step, because she said that when she first started working for Xerox, she jokingly said to herself, I can run this place. And she said she later, as she started working in different crevices of the company, she became a little overwhelmed. Like, wow, I didn't know this area does this and that blends with that. And then she was offered an opportunity that she almost missed. And you guys know, I always say, I say there's nothing more expensive than a missed opportunity. And so what happened is that it was offered to her, it was suggested to her that she apply, and she's already working for the company, but apply for a different position to be an executive assistant to the CEO. And she almost missed that opportunity, and she almost missed it, like, how like you're swatting like something. She almost missed that opportunity. Let's say you had a fly or something or a mosquito, you're like, psh. She almost missed it because she told the person that suggested it to her, you do know I have a master's degree in mechanical engineering. So how about sometimes we can think a little bit more of ourselves than we need to. And she almost missed her opportunity of getting mentored and preparing for her next stage of life, which was becoming a CEO. Thank you so much. Yep. I mean, I've done it. I've missed some opportunities, and I look back and I said, why did I do that? So she she kept her heart open, which I love. That's basically the best way for me to explain it. She kept her heart open. She didn't let her pride say, do you know I got this skill and I can do this and I can do this? And she said, okay, well, what can I gain from this opportunity? And what she gained was that it totally changed her status. A young girl whose parents were Panamanian. Thank you for the super hearts. Her parents were Panamanian immigrants living in New York, living in Manhattan, making a way. If you're from Washington, if you're from the USA, or even if you're not from the USA, you may or may not know that New York is not cheap. So her mom made sacrifices for her family, and so she took advantage of those opportunities, went to school, got an education, did something that most girls won't do. I have a niece who is in a science and technology program, and I just admire my sister so much, because it's like, okay, she is, she's exposing her to something that girls don't normally do. Girls don't normally do the math. No, go over here, do fashion, do nursing, do this. And there's nothing wrong with those roles, but it's like, okay, she's exposing her to something different. And that's one of the things that Ursula Burns says, be the girl in the boys club. And whether it's in business, whether it's in sales, whether it's in real estate, and for her it's in engineering. She said she started out in chemical engineering, and then she later went to mechanical engineering, and that became her sweet spot. Thank you so much for joining. That became her sweet spot, mechanical engineering. So she did that, and like I said, what a moment in her life where she was offered, hey, you know what? How about you apply for this executive assistant position? Could you do that? Could you lower your pride and say, excuse me, I have a master's degree from Columbia in mechanical engineering. Who do you think I am, doing some executive assistant work for the CEO? A lot of us would think like that. A lot of us would have that conversation first in our mind, and then we would have the nerve to utter that out to that person. And actually she did. She uttered that out to the person that suggested it to them, but she took it another step. So she wasn't so foolish that she just totally bypassed, even though she did utter those words, do you know who I am? She probably had her neck was probably going back and forth, but she went ahead and she did it anyway. So I admire her so much for that. If you were on it when we first started, that took her from being a CEO of Xerox to now she's a CEO of Veon, Veon. Sorry, Veon. Thanks for inviting followers so much. Then she's on the boards for like Uber. She's on the boards for American Express. She's on, like, basically, now I want to say she's set, like she's on, but she is a bona fide board. The person to be on her resume, it says board member. She's making boss moves for major companies. They want to hear what she has to say. And I loved what it said, and I verified this on Wikipedia. I love what it said, that from 2009 to 2016, she was the CEO of Xerox. Like I said, the Fortune 500 company. But guess what? She stepped down. That means that they would have let her just continue. This is not like the presidential election where, you can only do this many, this long of a term. She said she stepped down and she went to her next opportunity. I love that too. That taught me a lesson. Sometimes we can stay in places longer than we need to. So she stepped down and she went to her next opportunity. She talks about how important it is to have a good spouse. She said that not only did her mother's lessons help her, but that she has an extremely supportive husband. And she says whether you are a man that has a wife or a wife that has a husband, that you need a very supportive spouse. And that is, she said, if you don't have one, get you another one. Now, that's her. We're not giving marital advice on here, but that's extremely important, because she said there were times where she was away from her family because she worked for places and she would be traveling. Maybe she would be in Italy because, Xerox is a global brand, a global business. So she just really just took that position, and she just navigated. She learned how to speak up. She was like, sometimes we fail at speaking up, and where somebody would want to hear your voice because, hey, they want to say, well, who is she? Well, she's the one that always talks about this and this, or who is he? And I want to make it gender bias. So let me see. I want to make sure I don't forget anything. She one of the things I thought was really interesting that she said was, if she could do anything different. She was asked on 2 different occasions, if she could do anything different, what would she do? What would she have done? And this was so profound as a female boss, girl boss, woman, #woman CEO. She said she would have more children. And I really thought that was so amazing, because especially in a like I'll say America, I can only speak for America. If you are a brown skinned girl, you would kind of put your career, you would put your ambitions before your family. And she says that, yeah, it was tough. I had to have, she's like, I'm very successful. My brother's very successful. She said her sister is very successful in different ways, meaning like she doesn't have we don't have the same kind of bank account, but she's very successful in different ways. And she said that she's a social worker, and she said she helped to raise her family. Her husband was there being very supportive. And she says now, looking back, when she thought she wasn't going to be able to do this work-life balance, hey, thanks for joining, that she said she really wished that she would have had more children, because she said, she spends a lot of time with her son and her daughter and her nieces, and they keep her young. They keep her vibrant. She learns about different things that are coming down the pipe. And lastly, she says that she desires to, work for industries that will affect the next generation. She said a lot of times we just say, okay, well, things are not that bad, even though we see that they may be getting worse down the line, and we don't take any responsibility. We just say, well, I'll be gone by the time that happens. Well, no, we should be preparing for the next generation. We should be preparing for our children's children. So I like the way she thinks. I was really inspired by her story, and I posted 2 of her other interviews. Because I couldn't just cram it all in. 2 of her other interviews on my LinkedIn page and my Facebook page. So I really invite you guys to go hear her talk for herself. Again, she is a history maker, because she made history in 2009 by becoming the first Black woman to be the CEO of a Fortune 500 company. And we applaud her today. We're very proud of her, and we're proud of what she can inspire us to do, whether you're male or female. We applaud her, and we're crushing. This is Women Crushing Wednesday. We're crushing on her success. So I hope this guys have inspired you, and please share it out, whether you're watching it now or you're watching a replay. And I'll see you guys next time. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.